Oh yeah, savoir, we love Today FM. Today FM rocks.
Today's hit music on Today FM.
In this bulletin, seasonal work scheme to remain post-COVID-19. Alleged murder trial date set. And SMEs help, critical for budget.
From the studios of FBC Suva, Edwin Nag.
Pulminaga, Fiji. Fijians have been assured that demand for seasonal workers in Australia will remain once COVID-19 border restrictions are lifted. High Commissioner to Fiji, John Feeks, says in the midst of all the uncertainty surrounding the coronavirus, Australian farms have continued to produce and harvest. He says when the time comes, Fijians will again be able to work on these farms.
I think there will be absolute demand for these workers. Our agricultural industries continue to produce what they produce, and there continues to be a shortfall in available labour in Australia, so these programs will continue.
A trial date has been set for Muhammad Rahish Isuf, charged with 5 counts of murder and 1 count of attempted murder. Isuf is alleged to have murdered 3 adults and 2 children in the Nosori Highlands in late August 2019. He's also alleged to have attempted to murder an 11-month-old by abandoning her at the same location. The matter was called in the Lautoka High Court before Justice Chamat Morais, who set a trial date from 25th January to 5th February 2021. Isuf has been further remanded in custody. Budget support to assist small and micro businesses is likely to be considered with the national budget currently being drawn up. Economy Minister Aya Syed Qayyum says given the significant loss of jobs in the tourism sector, they are seeing an increased uptake in small and micro enterprises in response to the economic fallout of the pandemic. Syed Qayyum says while they forecast sustained unemployment given the crisis, they are envisioning avenues to try and soften the impact.
There are a lot of people who do want to go into small businesses, and how do they start, the type of support they need. We've had discussions with the Fiji Institute of Accountants also, very good discussions actually. They have 900 members in the organization, and strewn across Fiji, so we can piggyback on their expertise too, to be able to provide some hand holding.
Sugarcane farmers received their 4th cane payment of $13.73 per tonne on Friday. A deduction of 67 cents per tonne of cane was certified by the Sugar Industry Tribunal and processed as part of the payment. The deduction was for the operations of the Sugar Research Institute of Fiji and the Sugar Cost Adjustment. Farmers received $13.06 per tonne of cane.
This deduction of 67 cents was comprised of two deductions. The first one was a contribution, the 2019 season contribution of the farmers, the growers, to the Sugar Research Institute of Fiji. And secondly, there was a small certified deduction of 17 cents, which was a sugar cost adjustment that relates to the reprocessing of sugar last season.
Women in Fiji are proving they are more than capable of achieving almost anything, evident in the number of women joining maritime shipping services. With the Women in Maritime Day celebrated around the world, Minister for Trade Fayaz Koya says of the 132 employees of Fijian government shipping services, 4% are women. He says this is above the international benchmark and goes to prove that equal opportunities are provided to Fiji's workforce. He says while many women have made their mark in maritime shipping, others are encouraged to do the same.
We need more women to play important roles in the industry, to be in charge of a vessel and other critical roles along the value chain. We have marine officers class 2, commonly referred to as chief mate. We have engine watch ratings, we have captains and cadets on deck watch. We even have women holding prominent roles in maritime and shipping policy in the public sector.
All Methodist Church projects, elections and postings are on hold following the cancellation of the church conference. Church President Reverend Dr. Ipineri Wakandewa Vosa says this follows the cancellation of the Methodist Church conference this year due to the government's COVID-19 restrictions. All postings, elections and other church topics are usually discussed during the week-long conference attended by representatives from the 53 divisions. Reverend Dr. Vakandewa Vosa says the church head office is working with all the divisions in ensuring church members are well looked after during this difficult time.
Life is becoming more and more difficult due to the economic and social challenges brought about by COVID-19 and Cyclone Harold. And we are very aware of the situation out there. And that is why we made this very important decision. Yes, we have alternatives in making this decision, and our people are well informed.
The Ministry of Education is on the lookout for teachers to become the face of the ministry for the Walesi platform to be launched later this month. The ministry has been rolling out educational programs on the Walesi channel on Channel 9, which will be launched soon. Education Minister Rosie Akbar says they have engaged the Fijian Broadcasting Corporation as they intend to keep the channel after the home-based learning period. With this arrangement, the ministry will create and produce its own shows. Akbar says the ministry will hold auditions for teachers.
After the auditions, they will be contributing to this channel, and they will also become the face of the ministry. And we are looking for some very interesting lesson segments from our teachers. Again, I'd like to thank all those teachers who have communicated with us and have forwarded us some very, very interesting lesson videos, which the students will be able to see after the 18th of May.
The minister says they've been getting a lot of feedback regarding the Walesi platform as students all over Fiji are on holiday since the 23rd of March. Up ahead, 5 substitute rule to be implemented in upcoming football competitions. Welcome back. The Fiji Football Association has welcomed the 5 substitute rule implemented by FIFA as global football looks to resume the remainder of its season. FIFA has increased substitutions from 3 to 5 temporarily in order to avoid disruptions to any match. Talei Matairakula has more.
The new rule is expected to be inculcated once local competitions are given the green light.
For Fiji FA, I think we were ready to implement with the new season kicking off with 5 changes, because we know the condition of players after this long layoff.
Bula FM, number 2 and seri.
Bula FM, number 2 and seri.
Welcome back. The Fiji Football Association has welcomed the 5 substitute rule implemented by FIFA as global football looks to resume the remainder of its season. FIFA has increased substitutions from 3 to 5 temporarily in order to avoid disruptions to any match. Talei Matairakula has more.
The new rule is expected to be inculcated once local competitions are given the green light.
For Fiji FA, I think we were ready to implement with the new season kicking off with 5 changes, because we know the condition of players after this long layoff. The 5 substitutes will help speed up the game.
Fiji FA's referees director Rakesh Varman says they are ready to apply the 5 substitution rule for upcoming tournaments.
Any new thing like we have Fiji Fact or BOG or any other game with new one we start there, we can apply this temporary amendment to the number of substitutions.
The Vodafone Premier League, however, misses out because the season has already started and any changes now are seen as being unfair to teams which have already played under old provisions.
Those matches which are like we have national leagues, maybe round 4 already done, so we will continue to complete that one as we have done for the matches. That one will not try to interfere.
The new rule allows teams to use a maximum of 5 substitutes during a match. However, to avoid disruptions, teams will only be given 3 opportunities to make all 5 changes. This can also be done during halftime. Talei Matairakula, FBC Sports.
Talks are underway for a test match between the Fijiana 15 and the Australian Wallaroos in preparation for the 2021 World Cup. The Fiji Rugby Union is in discussions with Rugby Australia to have the match in October or November. FRU Chief Executive John O'Connor says the final decision will depend on when restrictions related to COVID-19 are lifted.
We are having discussions with Rugby Australia on the possibility of Fijiana playing a few test matches against the Wallaroos sometimes in October or November. But all that depends on the lifting of restrictions and travel restrictions and borders, and accordingly.
Cloudy periods with brief showers over the eastern parts and interior of the larger islands. Elsewhere, fine apart from possible isolated afternoon or evening showers. Cool nights. And that's your FBC News for now. Join us again at 7 p.m. for our major bulletin. Remember, in times of crisis, you need factual news that you can trust. Don't believe fake news about COVID-19 on social media. Fight misinformation by getting only the facts about the coronavirus from verified news sources like FBC's TV, radio and digital media news. www.fbcnews.com.fj, keeping Fijians connected with the truth. Modemanta.
Bula FM, number 2 NSR.
Bula FM, number 2 NSR.